Hello, welcome to Revenant Reads. I'm Ben, and this is a used book haul for March of 2025. All right, so I have here a stack. It's not a big stack. I only have 5 books, but over the past month or so, I have picked up some used books at various locations in my town where I'm able to buy used books. So there's basically 3 of them. There's Goodwill, which is, as the Brits would say, a charity shop that sells all kinds of secondhand stuff. But there is a book section, and surprisingly, I go in there sometimes, and there's actually some good books sometimes. Not every time, but I'm surprised by what I find. We also have another secondhand store, not just books, but secondhand of everything, and they have a book section that's very old in the town, and I occasionally find things there, not as much. It's not as much of a turnover of stuff as there is in the Goodwill. And then we also have a used bookstore that is dedicated to used books, and they also sell things like tea and stuff like that, which they have some interesting stuff. It's definitely not as cheap, so their prices tend to be a little bit more. But I occasionally will go in there and kind of poke around and see what I can find. Again, not a lot of turnover as far as merchandise goes, because they sell a lot of other stuff in there as well. So I got all these things either from Goodwill or from that secondhand bookstore. So let's start, no particular order. I'm just grabbing from the top of the pile. I found this one at Goodwill. I know that because the thing about Goodwill is their stickers are awful. I absolutely hate their stickers. They're such a pain to get off, especially for books. But like I said, sometimes I find good stuff. So here we have Robin Lane Fox's Pagans and Christians. And the very long subtitle here. Religion and the Religious Life from the 2nd to 4th century AD, when the gods of Olympus lost their dominion and Christianity, with the conversion of Constantine, triumphed in the Mediterranean world. Ooh, it's kind of a mouthful. I've heard about this book. I know a lot of people on the Storathon have read it. I had just never read it. And I was just really happy to find, a hardcover copy of this from 1986, and still has, a little bit of discoloration on here, but otherwise it's a good condition hardcover copy. So I was really happy about that. And this is a contender maybe for Q1 of the Storathon next year. I am very much interested in pre-Christian European paganism, and of course the conversion process is therefore also something that interests me. So yeah, I would like to learn more about this. Now, of course, these books that I'm showing you, except for one of them, I have never read before, so I can't tell you much. But if you can tell me anything about these, and especially this one, I would love to hear it. Now, I'm going to show you the one book that I can tell you about, because I bought it last month, and then I very quickly read it. So I was really excited to find this. This was in that secondhand bookstore. That was just the bookstore. This is Spirit of New England Tribes, Indian History and Folklore by William S. Simmons. So I have been interested in things like pagan practice and animism and stuff like that. And one of the things I wanted to know was, how did that sort of thing play out in, I live in Connecticut. So before Christianity came into my region, how did Native American ritual play out? How did Native American animism, that sort of thing? And I've had a really difficult time finding things like that, that material online, especially for my area. There's certain tribes you can find a lot of stuff about, but especially in my area, like our local Indian tribe or Native American tribe was the Scotticoke, and they had converted to Christianity by like the 1740s. So there's not much left as far as really knowing what they did. So I was really excited to see this in there. This was originally published by the University Press of New England, which is now defunct. It was published in the 80s, mid 80s. But essentially, what this author does is go through. He categorizes his work into different subjects. So we have things like giants and treasures and ghosts and the devil and shamans and witches. And he looks at things that were written in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, even like oral history into the 20th century. What do people remember? How have the same stories changed over time? So it's really an examination of those various things for these southern New England tribes. So we're talking especially like parts of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and especially southeastern Connecticut. I'm in southwestern Connecticut, but still there's some overlap, and the Scotticoke's actually going to mention in this. So I was really excited to find this, and I'll eventually make a video about it and tell you what I found out. Okay, this one I found at Goodwill. We've got Destiny of the Republic, A Tale of Madness, Medicine, and Murder of a President by Candace Millard. So this is all about James Garfield, a president who escaped, or he survived assassination. I think he's the one that basically was killed by the malpractice of his doctors, if I have him correct. So this is kind of looking at the Gilded Age through the life of James Garfield, which I don't know a lot about, especially this president in particular. So this just seemed like a really cool way to find out more about that. And here's another interesting one. I got Historical Thinking and Other Unnatural Acts, Charting the Future of Teaching the Past by Sam Weinberg. I read a book by Sam Weinberg last year. It was a Why Study History When It's Already on Your Phone. And he looks at education and how to, the teaching of history in high school or secondary school settings. And, the sorts of cognitive skills that you need and that need to be developed, and how can we do it, and how do we do it more effectively? Why do we need to do it? Those sorts of things. This is an older book, so this came out in 2001. So this is over 20 years old, but this is in that secondhand bookstore, and I thought, you know what? Even though it's old, I'll probably still be able to get something out of it, so I picked it up. And lastly, here's another one that was in Goodwill, because it's got the sticker that I'm still fighting with. But this is Twilight of the Old Order by Claude Mancerone. And I like it's got the blued pages on the top, which I thought looked really cool. And this is all about it's the first part of a series. I don't know exactly how many were in this series. I could look it up. I just haven't looked it up yet. But this is about France right up to the French Revolution. So this is the background, what things were going wrong right before everything ignited. And this is an older work. This was published, I think, in the 70s. Has that old book smell to it. 1977. But again, I mean, this is, except for that sticker that I need to get off, this is nice condition for 1977. And I don't know anything about this author. I don't know anything about this book or this series. I do have the other book that I have on the French Revolution, which I think you can just barely not see it, maybe. Do I have it up there? Oh, it's up on the top. Citizens, by Simon Schama, if I'm saying his name right. I always mispronounce people's names. But this looked interesting. And like I said, it was nice condition. So if anybody's read this and you can let me know anything about it, I'd be interested to know. So that's it. Those are some used books. Didn't go crazy. Didn't, have a huge stack. This is like, 2 months worth of just picking up things here and there at used book places. So we've got Historical Thinking, Destiny of the Republic, Spirit of the New England Tribes, Pagans and Christians, and Twilight of the Old Order. Read these, love to hear your thoughts. And as always, thank you, BookTube.